Alright guys, I am back with another video. Today we will be looking at a laptop and we will be upgrading it from what it originally had in it. It is a Lenovo. It has a Intel Core i3 and it is touchscreen. It ran Windows 8 and I know nothing about the system other than what I just told you. Don't know the amount of RAM in it, don't know the amount of storage, don't know the exact processor other than it's an i3. I don't know if it's soldered down or if it's socketed, but seeing that it ran Windows 8, it really just depends. So, let's dig in. Okay, so there are screws going all along here, 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 there's one there, and there's one here. Now, there could be some underneath these, but I will save these for last if we can't get the bottom off. Did I do it? My memory is not that great, apparently. I'm going to assume that that little nub that was there does not actually have a screw underneath it. Let's go ahead and try to remove something from up here. This does not look like it's going to come out easy, if it's even supposed to come out right now. Maybe this is supposed to come off all as one, because the motherboard very well could be attached to the deck here. That it is. So we can begin pulling up. Let us remove. We need to remove the DVD drive. Whoa, hello. We need to remove the DVD. The DVD drive is going to be hard to remove. Yeah, it's going to be a pain in the butt. I can see this, unless we have to remove the... We might have to remove the, what is this called? It'll come to my brain one day. Keyboard, that's what it is. Holy cow. I'm doing great. For the moment. I just used a flathead screwdriver and a Phillips head. That's definitely how that's supposed to work. Alright, back to the Phillips heads. There are Phillips head screws here, 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 and here. There was one here, but I used a flathead to get that out because I'm big brain. Okay, making quick work with these screws. This is the screwdriver I'm using is from the iFixit Marlin kit. It's pretty nice. It is plastic, so it's got a bit of a bend to it if you give it that. But otherwise, it's still pretty good. It's definitely worth, I think, like the 30 or 40 bucks that I paid for it. Oh. Yet again, forgetting to remove this. Alright, DVD drive's out, we can set that aside as well. Once that is out, you most likely, because most laptops have this, yep, there are 3 screws, here, here, and here, that will have to be removed. We'll make quick work of these as well. They are very shallow screws because there's not much plastic to put an insert in there. Very shallow but very wide screws, to be honest. Alright, now we should be able to begin lifting the deck here. Yes, okay. Now does it come off all the way? Just a little. Is it? Okay, so our bottom panel. This is the bottom panel that we were messing with earlier. That is off. We can now support the hinges, since they are a little bit weaker now, and close the system. Alright, so we have 2 DDR3 DIMMs, a what looks to be an SSD already in here, and we have a soldered CPU, so we cannot upgrade the CPU. So let's go ahead and take a look at our SSD. Alright, it already has a 11JS600 SSD in it. It is 512 gigabytes, so we are going to go ahead and leave this in here and take a look at our RAM. For RAM, the system has one Hynix 4 gigabyte stick and one Samsung 8 gigabyte stick. I do believe I have another 8 gigabyte stick somewhere. This is 4 gigabytes. 2 box of RAM. This is the box of RAM, as well as the bag of Wi-Fi cards. There may or may not be one 8 gigabyte stick of RAM. All we can do is dig in and find out. These are DDR3. That's weird. One of these is DDR3L, meaning low power consumption, and the other one is just DDR3, normal power consumption. So that's a bit of an odd amount that they have there. Pull out a handful and just take a look. Next. Throwing these RAM sticks in here like this is not actually going to damage them. RAM sticks are pretty resilient, so you don't have to worry about them getting damaged by just throwing them on top of each other like I am. I'll prove to you how strong these are. So this is a DDR2 512 megabyte 2R16 at 5300S, which I don't even know what that is, but just to give you an idea. That's a lot of bend. I mean, don't get me wrong, it did break, but it broke just now. And it broke, it wasn't even, like that took a lot of force to break. Poof. Okay, so out of all of that, the closest one was this one, which is a SK Hynix 4GB 1R8. PC3L, so it's DDR3L, lower power consumption. It's 12800S, meaning 1600 megahertz, and it's 1112B4. This one is 1112F3, so they're a little bit off on timing, but it shouldn't be enough to cause any issues. So we will go ahead and reinstall our RAM, something a bit more compatible. Alright. So now that we have that in there, we can take a look at our Wi-Fi card, though. I'm not actually sure what this Wi-Fi card is. It might tell me on the back of the card, so we will go on ahead and remove our antennas. We will unscrew, there's one screw holding the Wi-Fi card in. Put that screw there. This is a I still don't know. Oh, it is a RTL8723BE. It could be a Bluetooth and Wi-Fi card. So we're just going to leave this in there. Seems to be good enough. Our fan is unplugged, and I did not unplug it. However, we can take a look at our processor. Our processor is soldered down, so we can't remove it, but we can always repaste it. That's actually good thermal paste. There's nothing wrong with whoever applied the thermal paste last. Whoever did it did a great job. And I'm going to leave it there. I will, however, bring some of the thermal paste back in to the system, just so it has it. Because there is a lot on the outskirts here. Alright. Now this is something I don't understand. I don't know why companies do this. This is your actual CPU core. This is what houses your actual computational non-graphic stuff, this big one here. This one, that has absolutely nothing on it, is your graphics. And if you notice, when I set this back on here, your graphics chip has nothing covering it. It just gets hot. Not sure why they do this. A lot of companies do this. Apple does this. and yet they still can't figure out why their CPU temperatures were always so high when they used Intel. Dummies. So we'll just go ahead and put this back on there. It's got good thermal paste. It was still wet thermal paste, which is a good thing. If your thermal paste gets dry, you want to replace it usually every 3 to 5 years, or if you were to take your CPU cooler off to do some cleaning, you would want to reapply thermal paste then. I'm not going to here because in this situation this is still very wet and pliable thermal paste that was clearly recently put on, hence why this was not plugged in. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in as well. Alright, that is plugged in. All of the other cables appear to be plugged in. We will plug this one back in, our main black cable, and our auxiliary white cable. There are 2 antennas on this system, hence the 2 cables. Means better reception, better Wi-Fi reception. We will screw back down our thing here. Alright, it is good to go. We will go ahead and give a test to our CMOS battery here. I don't think we'll have an issue because it is still pretty good. You can test this either with a multimeter, or these are 3 volts, so if you just stick your tongue on it, you can tell whether it's charged or not. That one is charged. That one's good. A good CMOS reset probably wouldn't be too bad for this system as well, because I did reinstall new RAM, and it is RAM that is different from what was originally in the system, so it will be helpful. All of the other cables are plugged in like before, so we can go on ahead and close everything back up. Just make a quick check, make sure the RAM is down all the way, make sure it's in all the way. These are in, make sure this is in since it was out. Our fan's pretty clean, I'm not going to worry about cleaning it. Our heatsink looks pretty clean, so I'm not going to worry about that. These are plugged in correctly, so we are good to go. We can start by putting our bottom panel back on. And making sure that it is going on correctly. Alright. Now, I will start with putting back in the DVD drive screws, because they can be the most finicky, and it's also best to put this DVD drive back in first. It'll add a little bit of rigidity to the system as I flip it over and begin to work on the keyboard side, putting those screws back in. There isn't a lot of screws on this system, which is really nice. Our DVD drive goes back in like so, with this shallow side facing up. Our tab here has been moved. That's weird. It moved so easily. Yeah, fix this real quick. It's just a little tab, but it got a little bit bent out of shape. Okay, like I said, it's going to go in here with this shallow side facing up. So we will stick it in there. Boom. Now we can flip it over and open it back up. As I said before, there are screw holes here, 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 and here. They are all Phillips head screws. There we are. Make sure we don't cross-thread it. Cross-threading is a Rednex Loctite. However, on a system like this, if I ever have to take it apart again, I'd rather not deal with that. Keyboard, of course. That is next. Our keyboard had two connectors. This one here, which I believe is for the keyboard backlight. This appears to be in all the way. Okay. Both of those appear to be in all the way, but I will go ahead and just leave it like that. It takes the normal Lenovo USB-A style connector, and it plugs in on this side here. So we will go on ahead and plug it in. I don't want to put it all the way back together before giving it a test to make sure that I didn't possibly damage anything. It is a backlit keyboard. We will plug our USB drive in and try and catch it. Is it F12? Yes. Okay. So we will verbatim store and go. This is a... Oh. This system, at least from what I can tell, does not support UEFI, which is a little bit weird. Let's go and see if we can go to setup and see. So, system memory is at 12 gigabytes. Intel Core i3 4030U at 1.9 gigahertz. 512 gigabyte SSD. It is a touchscreen system, but of course that's not going to work in the BIOS. So, SATA controller mode AHCI. IED mode, it's set to AHCI, so that's good. Security. Admin password. Secure boot should be enabled. And if we go to boot, boot mode should be, yes, UEFI. Okay, and am I using the UEFI? Yes, okay. So we are set. We should be ready to use UEFI. We can go ahead and exit saving changes. And then press F10 again. Whoa, hello. Alright. Maybe we'll get something here. One thing I have noticed, the system has a crack on the back right here. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a small crack that goes all the way through the plastic, and that makes that hinge kind of weird. The cracking and popping you're hearing is the case. I don't have it screwed down, so it's still kind of wiggling. Not exactly sure what's happening, so let's go on ahead, turn it off, and back on again, because that's just how electronics work. It's doing a weird thing, and I'm not sure why. Verbatim store and go, yes. Alright, it is booting UEFI. We should at some point boot into a Windows installer. And while we are waiting for it to boot into this Windows installer, I will go ahead and take a moment to wipe the system down. I am using a microfiber cloth and 91% rubbing alcohol. The higher the percentage, the less water or other things that are mixed in with the alcohol. Oof. That was dirty. That was a dirty system. And we are running Windows 10 on this system, at least that's what will be going onto it. Go back over the screen here. I am butchering the Windows system. And it, of course, left every smear possible, so I have to go back and now buff it out. Alright, that's actually a really nice looking display. However, the resolution is absolute. It's a bit weird. Our trackpad is kind of broken. The cursor moving around its own a little bit. Go ahead and install now. Yeah, that's weird. The trackpad is kind of moving on its own. Maybe the something's messing with it. We'll just wipe it off real quick. Give it a good wiping. Just see if maybe that might have been an issue. That seems to have fixed it, actually. Kind of surprised. We'll go ahead, delete all the partitions on our SSD just to make sure that not only is everything off of the SSD, but we can go in, reformat it, set it up as a new drive, so that way Windows can make all of its partitions that it's necessary to make, so that way it can run correctly. Go next, and it will start copying over the files onto the drive, so that way it can get everything ready. And I will get back to you once the system has booted into Windows. Alright guys, we are back. The system is running Windows. And of course, errors. What do we got here? Can't send into OneDrive. Oh, well, nobody cares. I don't care about OneDrive. Go away. No. We can right-click to open the task manager and go into more details. Performance. Our Core i3 4030U running at 1.9 GHz. It's got 2 cores with 4 logical processors. It's got virtualization disabled, and it has Hyper-V support. It has 128 kilobytes of L1 cache, 512 kilobytes of L2 cache, and 3 megabytes of L3 cache. We can move down to memory, and we can see our 12 gigabytes of DDR3, and our system has 4 DIMM slots. So we can actually further upgrade our RAM, at which point I'll upgrade it. I will upgrade it in this video. We will go from an 8 and a 4 to just 4s. So that will be nice. We'll have 16 then, spread across more DIMMs. And we can see our SSD, and then our removable disk, which was our Windows installer, and then our Wi-Fi. So that is Task Manager. Now, I will try and run a Geekbench. I really don't want to do this right now. Whoa, hey, passwords? What? I think not. We will, back out. Back up, yes, okay, thank you. Where's the K? Where's the K? You know, typing on a keyboard that's upside down, that's a bit difficult. Where's the Enter key? It's over here. Okay. Geekbench. Download. Now, I could totally run a Cinebench. The issue is it would take literally forever, because this is a Core i3 dual-core processor. Okay, we can open this file now. Open the file. Open the file, please. Okay, look, I get it, you're a dual-core i3, but seriously, this is a bit... Yes, open. What is this? This is File Manager. Kill this. Kill this. Next. I agree. Next. Install. Thank you. Finish. Is it going to open it, or am I going to have to go find it? There it is, Geekbench 6. Enter a license, upgrade. Later, do not show this message again. Here. So, we can see our system information, with the operating system being a Windows 10 Home installation. The model is a Lenovo 20405. It's a Lenovo Flex 215 with 12 gigabytes of DDR3. We can see all of our processor stuff. It's a Haswell ULT socket 1168. It's a ball grid array, which is sad. I wish it wasn't. And its maximum frequency is 1.894. Cool. So it's also the base frequency. Let's go ahead and run a CPU benchmark. It's going to go ahead and grab our system information. And I will get back to you when this is done. Alright guys, so these are the Geekbench 6 scores. As you can see, we have a single core score of 453, and a multi-core score of 979. This is our result information, system information, CPU information, some memory information stuff, and then our single core performance. I will scroll through this slowly so that way you can read it. Single core performance is really bad on this system. Definitely seen better from 3rd generation MacBooks running Windows. Its multi-core performance isn't horrible, but yet again I've seen better performance on 3rd generation MacBooks running Windows. This is definitely something that is entry-level, but at its price point, which, if I am remembering correctly, let me just get a look at the information, system information. Flex 2, 15. Its price at launch was $530. However, that one was for a Core i5. So let me see. So this reviewer, which was Notebook Check, had one, and it was a Core i5 4210, still a dual-core processor, 4210U, still a dual-core processor with the same integrated HD 4400 graphics. It came with 6 gigabytes of RAM, which was pretty horrible. And theirs came at a price of, hold on, let me back up a little bit. Theirs came at a price of $549. So an entry-level laptop coming in at not entry-level prices. Entry-level laptops of the time came in at prices of around $200 to $300. Whether they were a Chromebook or a Windows laptop, $200 to $300 was an entry-level price at that moment. And this, with its performance at $549, is really a horrible deal, especially since it was $600 at its first release, and it made it down to $530 before they discontinued it. So that's a horrible deal. Definitely not something that I would want to have. Definitely not something I would go out and purchase unless it was on sale for like $200. But the device does have a few good features that we can note. I am unplugging the power cord here. It does have a few good features that we can note. As we know, it's got a touchscreen, and it does fold into a notebook mode. I still have not put the case back together, by the way. It does fold into a notebook mode, which we can see here. Or not a notebook mode, it folds into what they call the tablet mode, which essentially just makes it a fully touchscreen only device. So that's kind of nice, but that is really the only feature that came along with this system. So it's not really worth it. I am not going to be using the system personally, and for that reason I will not be upgrading the system any further. But it was still it's still good for normal tasks, say checking your, you give it to grandma. That's what you would do, because she's not going to be playing games. She's going to be checking her email or scrolling Facebook or buying some items online. If you guys liked the video, please let me know. I have plenty more laptops to do this with. It's gonna happen. I have plenty of desktops to do this with. That's gonna happen. Coming up, I'm gonna be having a stream to build a desktop. We're gonna be building a desktop on stream. So join me for that. There'll be a date out in one of the upcoming videos, and I will also post it in the community tab, so make sure you check there. But thank you for watching the video. Peace.